Do us some justice. Can you guys like see me?
Oh, you look great.
I see Santa Claus, but I mean,
What's that?
oh, is that you? That is you. Okay, I
That's
thought it was
me, dude.
Santa.
What do you want for Christmas?
That sounds naughty. That's
Those are the types of boys that I
Oh,
reward. I don't know where the fuck are we going with this at this point. Hey, ladies, welcome to the arguably awesome podcast. I'm like Big Clown Daddy Sean Beard, and I'm here with Eric, and he doesn't know how to spell his name right. And I don't even know this other guy's name. But like, here we go.
just like no stopping, just like right into it.
Dude, no, I can relate. You were telling me you had a camera, computer problems. I had to go to 3 different browsers till this thing wasn't like on my camera, and I was like, "Come on!" I'm using Chrome now.
And like the fucking worst part is right now, like I can fucking like not hear you that good. Like I can hear you, but the reverb in this fucking building is so. I just moved, so I was like not prepared for anything. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
I was like, oh, I should have the collection behind me and all that shit, and it's like it's not set up. It's just fucking. So sorry about all that. You know.
Yes, sir, you were a liar. Those are Photoshop images on Instagram.
Yeah.
You go.
Don't trust anything you see online.
So I haven't. You can tell I haven't worn these shirts often.
Yeah, it looks really pristine, honestly.
Yeah, I mean I can barely fit in it, so it's been a long time. It's like what 15? No, it's even more. Maybe almost 20 years old. Wow.
Yeah, I know that boggles my mind. Like someone brought up 2002 recently, and I was like, that's 20 years ago.
I know. I hated 2002 for some reason. I didn't think there was really anything good in that year.
2002 sucked. This isn't going to be part of the podcast, I hope, but like the year after 9/11 did suck. Humor was canceled. Like nothing was really allowed to like. Bands were canceling their album just because like the artwork was too dark or scary or so. Like everyone was just super fucking touchy and afraid.
That sounds like now. It sounds like
yeah. Well, every 20 years they make something happen to keep us all divided. So there you go.
Oh man, I know.
Well,
what
Twin
did John
Towers,
Cleese...
spread a disease, whatever works, man. I hate you. You hate me.
I mean, John Cleese said it best on Twitter. He said, "Wokeness is killing comedy."
Yeah, or it's fueling it. You could argue maybe. I think comedy's about to make a big comeback in a way. It's the early 2000s. I think of like Superbad and movies like that. They're just like super fucking vulgar, and you watch them now, and you're just like, holy shit, man! Like that was accurate, but like, damn, it's just like a bunch of like fucking like sucking dick jokes right off the bat. It's like I feel like South Park pushed that movement into play.
Oh, they have never changed. I mean, I don't watch that show much anymore, but it hasn't changed from what I've seen. And speaking of that, when I watched Beavis and Butthead, the new movie, I was like, wow, they really are not holding back on the humor from the old school Beavis and Butthead and kind of bringing it back, saying, hey, you know, this is what it is. We're not going to change.
Yeah.
And then they start saying, Beavis starts saying fire again.
Yes.
And I'm like, wow. Okay, that good.
Me,
I mean, like,
I love that they literally centered a whole part of the plot around the fact that the woman did not understand they were talking about doing her for their space mission.
Oh,
it took you the whole movie to understand that.
You could argue. Well, I almost thought that was a great scene where she actually like realizes it at the end and almost like self narrates how she's just figuring it out, because that plot device, you could argue it's the same plot device from the first movie, but I don't think anyone in the first movie ever really realizes what the boys' intent was. Usually they get
their whole journey is to get laid
or something like that, you know. So is my audio awful?
No, it's just there's like you're in a room, but It's clear.
Is it? His reaction tells me it's fucking awful.
Who? Eric? Eric?
Yes.
Come on.
How bad is it, man? Be honest. Would you want me to try to go to another room?
No, because then that's going to take forever with your laptop.
You have
your
some
laptop battery
you can put against
die?
All right. I just feel bad, but I mean, hey, that's what you get.
If this is the only place that it'll work, no, we completely understand.
Yeah, and your laptop
I'm an older
forever
guy who got on Instagram. I'm not necessarily like a professional at this shit. I've done so many podcasts, and every time I have to relearn what to do because I think a big part of me doesn't care to learn. And then every time I'm just like, God damn it, why didn't we pay attention last time? Here we are pissed off again because we don't know what the fuck to do. And we just blame it on our own ignorance of, I'm stuck in the past. I shouldn't have to know.
What year were you born? You were born in the 80s.
I was born in 87.
Okay. I don't know where I saw the 86. I saw the 86 somewhere. But okay, so yeah, you started collecting in 96.
No, I would say I started collecting in 94, honestly. Let's see. I was born in 87. Beavis and Butthead came out in 93, so I was like 5-ish. I was born in July, so it's always mixed and confusing.
Okay.
And then 94, I was already obsessed with the show, but then my grandma got me the trading cards. And that, I think, really made me home in. Yeah, she's a cool grandma. And that really made me home in on collecting it. I was just obsessed with it instantaneously. Like as soon as I saw them, I was afraid because they're drawn really weird. And I was 5, and no other cartoon really looked like that either. And I love drawing, so I would obsessively draw them. I thought because it was 93, Jurassic Park just came out. I thought Beavis looked like a velociraptor a bit. I just thought he looked so awesome.
I can see.
Oh no.
I could totally see that. He's got the little arms.
Yeah, Beavis and Butthead was. I remember that a lot of people didn't like their kids watching it. So my cousin would babysit me, and she'd watch it during the afternoon when they'd show reruns back. What was this, mid 90s? So I'd be like, oh, Beavis and Butthead, and that's when I would get Beavis confused with what was that weird MTV show with the guy with the big ass head, like Big Head?
The
Head, yes. And I forgot all about that cartoon until like a couple years ago.
Yeah. Dude, Liquid Television, bro.
I know that.
Actually, I have a VHS of it because in the first episode, Butthead's in it very quick. So, of course, I needed it for the collection.
Nice.
It's a very odd show. It feels like it was made by a very sad guy who couldn't get a girlfriend. I'll be honest. That's what I get from watching that show back as an adult. I'm like, this is a lonely guy's fantasy.
Yeah. Well, I guess
pretty much all animated.
Wow.
That's
great.
Bold statement.
I'm glad
we're starting her off right.
Oh, I'm sporting the Butthead wristband from.
Oh, that's badass, dude. That's badass. I have those. I remember when those came out. I was like, why the hell? And then I bought it because I buy everything.
I know it was like something convenient you could wear, and it had Butthead. I don't know why they didn't have Beavis.
There is a Beavis.
This one.
Ooh, yeah.
Look at that.
Can we do this like it's a tutorial? You just put it on your wrist. You should put it
around your wiener.
Oh wow. Oh man, not that big.
The beads of sweat are running down it. You know what I'm saying?
So, what attracted you to the show? Because for me, dude, it's Mike Judge's satirical sense of humor. The way that he can spin a joke in a scene is so great. Like when he, for instance, from the new movie when he's having that dream sequence, and the girl's like, well, have you scored with other girls? And he's like, oh, totally. And they're like, were you scared that it hurt? And he's like, no, and I never was, or some shit.
Yeah.
Cracked me the fuck up, man.
I love Beavis's dream sequence as well, where it's like an exaggeration. He gets on a unicorn, but then it just pans out. It shows Butthead. He's like, I'm a horse or something.
So awesome.
So fucking good, dude.
Really know what they're doing.
I think what attracted me to it initially was the way that it looked, and then being that age, and Beavis and Butthead was almost the ultimate taboo. Like it instantly downplayed Simpsons. Like everyone was giving Simpson shit and everything for Bart saying bitching and calling his dad Homer. And then Beavis and Butthead comes out, and the first few episodes, they sniff paint thinner, they're sniffing glue,
Yeah.
they paint a cat. The first 20 episodes aren't even what the show necessarily became. The first episodes were really just about, like, if you grew up in the country, it was like the two boys that you don't want to fucking run into while you're out playing.
Yep. I could easily see that.
And I love those episodes. I would never introduce someone to the show through those episodes at all, because if you compare those to like Great Cornholio, vastly different. But the controversy that spawned from those episodes arguably is what changed the show into brilliant, because it really was kind of like really lowbrow humor at first. It was honestly MTV almost being like, hey, look at what we are getting away with over here. And then they didn't get away with it. And the fire controversy happened and all that shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Who are you waving
You guys
there?
really-
Oh, sorry. Just waving the overlay off. Sorry. It was like covering my face.
Oh, yeah.
Did you take
I was
some
just like-
shrooms before we started?
No, I was just like magically waving off the overlay instead of like clicking my keyboard. I was like, "Get me gone!"
I know. I always felt naughty watching that show back in the 90s.
I had to sneak it.
Man, I hope my parents are going to come in. I feel like I'm going to see something I'm going to get in trouble for.
My mom did not want me to watch it. Like that's why I didn't watch it like consistently and like fervently like other people. I had to like go back and watch like reruns or hope it would pop up on like some late night show, and I'd be like, oh, it's like 4 a.m. No one should probably come in my room, right?
Yeah,
Like-
most stories I hear are either you snuck it as a kid, or your parents were split up and you had a cool parent who let you watch it on weekends and you weren't allowed to tell the other parent.
That'd be
stuff
me.
like that. What's
I'd
that?
Be the one, I'd be the one telling my
Hypothetically.
kid, hey, don't tell mom we watched it.
Yeah, don't tell mom we got 2 pizzas and root beer and watch Beavis and Butthead all night.
That's
She'll
when you could
divorce me again.
buy the you could buy the DVD, the first one that ever came. Well, you might have the first one that came out. Eric was telling me about Best of Liquid Television tape cassette, or it was
Yeah.
a DVD. It was really rare.
Well, it was tape at one point.
The first DVD that came out was actually just a reissue of The Final Judgment. Because I remember when that came out, because I've been a part of the King Turd Collection Preservation Project since I got online like 20 years ago. And
Oh, wow.
I remember when that DVD came out, and I was like the first person to like rip it. And everyone was just like, man, can you believe this quality? Because we were all ripping from VHS bootlegs recorded off TV and shit. And even that's been so surpassed by now. If I were to find that rip from 20 years ago, it'd probably look like shit, you know? It probably wasn't even direct quality from the DVD. It's just, you remember back then you'd download like South Park or episodes and shit. They just looked awful. They were like QuickTime videos and Real Player, was it?
Yeah,
Oh my
QuickTime
gosh,
Real
wow.
Player.
And the pixels were literal full boxes.
Yeah.
They were fucking.
And the audio wasn't the best either. And it would take forever to download 1 minute, to even to download a 30-second video.
I remember it would take like 10 hours to download a 20-minute episode of South Park back then. And then someone would like call you like at hour fucking 8 and just interrupt it. Yeah, it was. These kids don't know, man. These kids don't know the struggles of the early internet.
Having to put
West.
a CD into your computer so that you could access the internet. Man.
Years ago, I swear there was an episode of South Park where Beavis and Butthead crossed over and they became friends with Timmy.
No, that never happened.
I don't know
wow.
where I saw that. Maybe I was falling asleep back then and I was watching South Park on Comedy Central, and then I don't know.
I don't
It
even
was
know,
weird.
because I don't even think there's actually a Terrence and Phillip like moment with Timmy. Because I've always, they said in the early days Terrence and Phillip were Beavis and Butthead, especially season 1 and the South Park movie. Terrence and Phillip are Beavis and Butthead. The kids go pretty much watch the Beavis and Butthead movie. Kenny imitates a scene with fire and burns to death, and then all the parents scapegoat and end up blaming Canada and everything. And then at the end of the movie, when Kenny's unhooded and says goodbye, you guys, that's Mike Judd voicing Kenny for just that line. So
Oh, wow.
the South Park movie is really about Beavis and Butthead.
That's actually
Really?
pretty cool.
Well, it
Yeah.
did come out the
Pretty
same.
cool.
No, it came out in '99. Beavis and Butthead came out in '96. Okay. Yeah.
So if you think about it in the regards of like the fire controversy was in late '93, it was still kind of a relevant topic. Nowadays, yeah, I don't think too many people would point that out because I don't think even kids who know Beavis and Butthead now probably don't know about that fire controversy or anything. It was really, and that's fine, but it's at the time it scared the fuck out of America.
Jeez.
I had to stop a fire the other freaking day, dude. Holy crap.
Why'd you have to stop a fire, dude?
Well, because out here we're kind of dealing with some really dry season right now, and so they're like, "Hey, fire advisory! Like, we may even have to shut some power off in certain places just in case stuff blows into the power lines and causes sparks." We're so worried about random fires. It's been so dry in Oregon, and so I just happened to be taking the max off somewhere in southeast. And I guess someone had thrown a cigarette into the brush and started a fire, and people were just sitting around staring at it, doing nothing. So I freaking ran back across the street to go stop it.
Were they filming it?
Out.
Yeah, were they at least filming it?
The one guy was sitting there smoking another cigarette, watching it burn.
That guy kicks ass. That guy rules. He's
man,
like, that's not enough fire for me, and he lights up a cigarette.
I'm ready to watch this mother burn. And then Smokey the Bear. Yeah, Smokey the Bear and Captain Planet align and join forces.
I've been getting Smokey the Bear all week. Wow, but I didn't
Smokey
get
the Bear's
Captain
better.
Planet.
But Captain Planet, he's our hero. He take pollution down to zero.
He hangs
But he
out
has
with
to be
kids
Don
and that's
Cheadle.
everywhere.
It has to be Don Cheadle as Captain Planet.
I do love Don Cheadle's Captain Planet. So awesome. He gets all tough at the end.
I know. Tree. Everybody's a tree.
What's one of your favorite pieces from your collection, man? I don't know if you get asked that question a lot.
That's a hard one, dude. I think just like, because I have hundreds of VHS tapes at this point, but that's because I keep pretty much buying the same ones from every country.
Yeah, you got a problem. I've seen this
Yeah.
on your uploads.
Yeah, that's a rabbit hole. And I think the VHS tapes were my favorite thing as a kid because, you could just fucking watch them whenever you wanted if you had them, which was just beautiful back in the 90s. A lot of those were actually edited, though. And I think that added a lot to it when I was a kid, too, is that I was watching these tapes. And then once the internet started coming out, you would get the real version of the episode, which, the episode where they sniff paint thinner on the VHS release, that entire minute and a half scene is completely cut from it. So
Yeah.
I think that kind of sparked an obsession too, was that this show was incredibly edited and censored and preserving it and finding all those scenes. And some of the scenes are amazing. Some of them are literally just a scene of Beavis flicking his lighter and they, cut that millisecond scene, but you find it and you edit it back in and you're just like, I'm preserving history on this shit, So there were a lot of elements that really made me home in and just, obviously it's my favorite thing in the world. I'm incredibly passionate and over knowledged on it. Things like that really played into it. It wasn't just, I can sit here and tell you, the first time I watched it with my mom, she was laughing in a way I never saw her laugh. And of course that, always, when I got my first tattoo of them, my mom was like, "Did you get that for me?" And I'm like, yes, I did. I don't think too many moms would respond to a Beavis and Butthead tattoo that way, So
Yeah.
So my mom let me watch it.
Okay.
I see.
Which led to a controversy in my life of she was buying me the shirts. I'm going into first grade with Beavis and Butthead t-shirts on. And all of the teachers are seeing on the news that kids are starting houses on fire because they're watching Beavis and Butthead. So that turned into a thing where they brought my parents in. They threatened that I would be put into foster care. My mom was very adamant that they were being overreactionary. My mom's a wonderful, very intelligent person, but it got to the point where they were pretty much just like, "No, we're going to take your kid away." So, so I had to get put to therapy. Of course, that led to them putting me on a bunch of fucking pills that probably don't exist anymore and all that shit. And there was almost repercussion to being the parent that let your kid openly watch it because everyone was so afraid of it that, like I said, I got put into counseling and therapy and all that good shit. Like if I were to really like get into it, man, like it was really fucking sad, you know. Like I remember because it went on for a year, and then South Park came out, and my mom let me watch South Park and wearing the shirts, and then they, you know, bring me in for that. And I remember being like, I don't know what grade, but pretty much going into the counselor and just them asking if I was suicidal. And I jokingly was like, oh yeah. And they were like, why? And I was like, because I'm being forced into counseling because my mom let me watch a cartoon. And then they were like, oh, it is the show that is to blame. You know, it was just.
I love how self-aware you were and how, like, not with it the counselors were. They're like, oh, that's it.
I think it helped me become self-aware because it taught me at a very young age that just because someone is an adult does not mean they know what they're talking about, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because that was, nowadays, I don't think they could have gotten away with this. Of course, you could argue people like censorship's at an all-time high and everything, but I think if a kid were to come out online and be like, I'm in 3rd grade and I'm being forced into therapy and on prescription drugs because my mom let me watch a TV show, I don't think people nowadays would be like, that's okay. Because it's almost, if you're to talk about the people who are like trying to censor stuff today, it's like, you know, teenage girls with pink hair. And back then it was just like Christian, like parents and shit. How the tables have turned. Now your Christian like parents have turned into punk rock kids, but they're not punk rock kids. They're just Christian parents.
Not my Christian Minecraft
it's a mishmash.
server.
That was almost like in middle school when Freddy vs. Jason came out. I was obsessed with this mashup. So I'd be drawing Freddy and Jason all the time, like different artwork. And then they took me to the counselor, the principal or the counselor. They're like, so why do you like these guys so much? You keep drawing them in class. And I'm like, I don't know. I just like Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
He was concerned like I might have something going on here. Like, hey, like killing, right? And I'm going to be on one of those documentaries.
Oh, man.
It's like these people just don't think like, well, this stuff exists and people enjoy it.
Now the internet's booming and everybody's doing NSF, whatever they call it.
Yeah, right. No,
is that the right term? NSF? I don't know.
Sean, check this out.
Did you like? Yeah, hell yeah, dude.
Hey, that's like my glove.
Yeah, I had to bust it out, man.
I still need to buy my glove from Nightmare Gloves.
I've seen those. Those are fantastic.
Yeah, they've been around since that movie actually came out. Actually, I didn't even realize that's the guy I was talking to back in 20 years ago.
Did you enjoy that movie?
Freddy, when it came out?
Yeah.
Yes, I bought the DVD. Looking back on it, I hate the way that how Jason changed in every fucking film. He always looked different because I guess it was creative differences based on who was directing who wrote the movie or directed the movie. They had to change it. Part 8's my favorite. Well, it's either Part 7 or Part 8, but the movie was
Jason?
For Jason.
Mine's 1 and 5, which ironically are not Jason movies if you think about it.
Yeah, like, depending on who's in it.
Yeah, the killer's the mom in the first one, and then Part 5 it's Roy Bird's. But for some reason, those ones are my favorite. But I love Freddy vs. Jason. I saw it in theaters. I remember my friend and I went and saw it, and we were the only people in the theaters, so we just roasted it, in a loving way the whole time, And then we got up. The movie was done, and we stand up to leave. There was an old lady sitting in the corner in the back the whole time. I'm like, oh, that poor lady just put up with us the whole
okay.
But I feel like it's a good Jason
movie.
Looking
back, the
Freddy
movie
kind of sucks in it. He's just narrating a comic book and shit.
Yeah.
It's kind of they didn't know how to write Freddy. And he kills one person, dude. One person.
So sad.
Well, it's the guy who did Bride of Chucky, who also did that movie, and I was like, Bride of Chucky I thought was cool when it came out, because I was like, hey, I can actually remember an actual Chucky movie in the theater coming out now. I can say I've witnessed one or something.
Agreed.
That's why
Bride of Chucky, but yeah,
both movies have aged. Let's just say that.
Bride of Chucky's a total new metal movie, dude.
Yeah. And then we got David Arquette gets a ring ripped out his rest in peace, David.
If you were into Marilyn Manson and all that shit, Bride of Chucky was your movie. And I feel like Rob Zombie's Halloween is a Slipknot fan movie.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I thought when I saw that. I was like, what is this Slipknot?
Yeah, even though it's made by Rob Zombie, that's a Slipknot movie, dude. He's got all the masks he's making and shit. That's cool.
Have you seen all the Hellraiser movies?
I have only seen 1 and 2. And I've never gone past it because everyone pretty much told me not to. And I kind of assumed it had no more to do. But I did that with Phantasm too. I never watched it past part 1 until last year. And then I watched them all and I was like, oh, those all kick ass. So
I just watched Phantasm, the whole thing, for the first time in 2017. I just binged them on the internet. I'm like, but these stories are actually kind of interesting. They're weird. I mean, if you like into high budget, but it was still interesting. And same with Hellraiser. Because since 2000, I think after the space episode, like 2000 to 2006, they just implemented Pinhead in scripts that, like, oh, this movie isn't going to work. Let's just put Pinhead in there.
Yeah.
But the storylines were actually pretty interesting, even though they were straight to video.
I remember being on the school bus and a kid telling me about 3 because there was a Cenobite that has CDs in their head and they throw the CDs at people and it kills them. And I've still never watched that movie, but that rules.
I watched the breakdown of that series. That was great.
Oh yeah, it's a good. I do. I just recently bought, because I'm a big DVD collector. I just got rid of a lot of sequel DVDs and just tried looking for ones that have them all in one case.
Your Dollar General box sets.
So I can keep growing my collection and less space or more space. Yeah. But yeah, those series, Phantasm. I really like Phantasm. I didn't think I would.
Well, the first one is honestly a romance novel. Like, I think the scariest character is the chick that's like obsessed with Frank. Her obsession is fucking scary as hell. The Cenobite scared me as a kid, but if you really think about the movie as a whole, that lady is fucking evil. There, I said it.
He said it. What do you think?
Take that one, internet.
Put his Instagram up so you guys can get him.
Oh man, that's why I never go by Rotten Tomato scores. Come on.
Oh gosh.
But going back to Beavis and Butthead, I never did watch the because I had like a Beavis and Butthead phase in the mid 2000s with me and this guy in middle school for some reason, and it was slowly coming back at that time. Because you see a lot in Hot Topic, you like stickers, decals. I'm like, man, I want to buy this, and then it came out like a reboot. It came back in 2008, right?
2011.
But there was also a series, one season that came back in 2008, and then it came back again in 2011.
No.
Really?
Yeah. You're dumb. No. No, MTV2.
I don't know.
No, MTV2 started re-airing them. This was around the time the Andy Milonakis show and Wonder Shows and brilliant stuff like that was happening. And they started re-airing old Beavis and Butthead episodes from the 90s. So that's probably what you were seeing.
That's about when I started getting more into Beavis and Butthead, because I was like a little less, I don't know what you want to call it, like I guess moderated. But I had a little bit more freedom to, watch some more stuff. I mean, other shows had been out for so long. It was like desensitizing my parents, or at least, getting them to the point where they realized like it wasn't going to make me like a garbage human to watch these shows.
Also, at that point, Family Guy was out and they were making their rape jokes and everything. I mean, Beavis and Butthead's pretty fucking tame.
Yeah, I know. I heard
nowadays could argue that they like aren't good to women or anything, but most girls I talk to that like Beavis and Butthead think it's really cute because it's these two really ugly guys with that like dumb guy confidence. And it's almost how can I put this? It's not necessarily harmful, it's that they would never go through, like the 2 times where a girl actually went for them, they just laugh and they just start laughing. They're like in disbelief that it could happen. And they just, it's like, I don't even think they could have sex if a girl really wanted them to. They're just too innocent. They're pure.
They'd get nervous.
That's fair.
And quite honestly, I always look, especially in the 90s, which it made more sense, the satire in the 90s. Beavis and Butthead had no parental guidance. They were being raised by MTV solely. So everything that they deemed as cool, fire, scoring, it was all like what heavy metal bands and like gangster rap was telling them was cool. And if that was the only thing raising you, you pretty much do get Beavis and Butthead. It's just like, we're not going to be cool until we're doing what those guys in the music videos are doing, you know? And it's they were perfect satire of that era. Absolutely.
So what do you think about like Mike Judge? Can he do no wrong at this point? I mean,
no. You ever seen The Good Family? That was awful.
No.
Is that a movie?
I saw one
film?
episode.
It was pretty much, he tried to do King of the Hill with Van Driesen, so he's following around like your hippie like co-op character, only it wasn't Van Driesen, but it was the same voice. And I'll tell you, man, it's really hard to watch. And this was also like 2010. And it might have even been ahead of the game on making fun of people like that. But I think the problem with making fun of that is that the episodes would make such a good point that by the next episode, you can't understand why the people are still the way they are. Whereas King of the Hill, it's almost like whether Hank's wrong or not, he does come from a very pure place and he is a good person, you know? So, because I know there's people out there that would be like, oh, Hank Hill would be a conservative or something like that. And it's like, stop putting everyone in a box. Hank's just a really good guy who kind of is afraid of anything that would be considered bad, you know? He just like, what is one where it's like Luann comes out wearing a full towel. He's like, geez, put some clothes on, girl, you know?
But then he has this weird, like, I feel like I've heard rumors that he might have some sort of like thing going on upstairs because he'll unwittingly get himself into these situations like where he unwittingly became a pimp or unwittingly became a drug dealer. You know what I mean? Like, or like all these situations.
Like Oral.
It's exactly like Moral Oral. It's a good reference, by the great reference. It's exactly like Moral Oral. Crazy show. It got really weird at the end.
I don't think anything will ever surpass Moral Oral tastefully.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? You can go more fucked up, but they did it kind of tastefully in a way.
Man, now I got to go back and watch it. That was a mindfuck of a show. It was good.
Prepare yourself, dude. That show. It's like the first 6 episodes are really campy, and then by the end of the show, where it starts getting into the parents' like relationship and the dad cheating with the gym coach and everything, and that the one son is definitely like, what does he have? Like fetal alcohol syndrome? The one kid, he's just like constantly screaming. It's a brilliant show, man.
And then the end with like the church in red and like all that weird shit. It's just like flashing through all these like where he was like getting the kids to like bathe him in blood and stuff and have his own.
And what I love Moral Oral so much because my mom always, as when I was growing up, she'd be like, "Oh, I loved watching Davy and Goliath when I was a little girl."
Yeah, that's
Davy
what it
and
looks
Goliath
like.
look exactly like Moral Oral, and that is the surface joke. Just like where South Park, people forget this. The surface joke is that it looked as campy as Peanuts, and they were swearing. If you think about the very first episodes, you know, and Moral Oral pretty much did the same thing.
Yeah.
Oh man, that camping trip one where he like almost kills his dad with something else.
There's the one where he gets addicted to crack. Like I said, I think King of the Hill. Yeah, you're right. King of the Hill did the same thing almost. Only no, Hank was using it as fish bait.
Yes, that's right. And then he was dealing it to his friends so they could use it as fish bait.
That's right.
Oh, no.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
That shit got wild.
But anyways, I guess to go back to the question, can Mike Judge do no wrong? For the most part. It's just the Good Family was really bad. Because have you seen Extract?
I can't say I have.
Oh, man. I feel like I've seen it. Who's in it?
I'm not good at that, but I know it's about they work in a vanilla extract factory and someone gets hurt and it's all about a lawsuit. And then a girl starts dating that guy so that she can exploit his lawsuit.
Oh, with Jason Bateman.
Bateman. Yes, you're right, though.
I've heard of it. I never watched it, though.
Master Bateman.
Master
Okay.
Bateman. Wow, that's pretty funny.
Like if he was a butler, he'd be Master Bateman.
Oh, missed opportunity to do the impression with you, man. But the joke was too good.
That one's great. Of course, The Office is just flawless. Jesus.
Oh yeah, that's a great movie.
Yeah. Do America's fucking perfect. I really am shocked at how good Do the Universe is because, like, obviously I love Beavis and Butthead very much, but I did not think they could pull another movie that was on par. Because if you really think about the feat that Do America is, they took a show that really all the episodes are 4 minutes. If you take the music videos out, they are very short, to the point. And to make an hour and a half of that is perfect. Like everybody loves that movie. I would say the common Beavis and Butthead fan has only seen that movie. And for most people, that's enough for them to be like, yes, I love Beavis and Butthead, because it's just so perfect. And Do the Universe. I remember I was like 20 minutes in and I had this thought of like, holy shit, I am fully enjoying this. This is awesome.
Exactly.
Wow. Like, thank God. Wow. Like, it was such a good feeling. Such a good feeling.
I almost stopped watching it by accident. I hit the remote, and then I was like, no, go back.
It wasn't like a Dumber and Dumber 2 feeling.
Oh, geez.
No, that's the thing with Beavis and Butthead is they are so true to themselves. And if you have the right people writing for them, it almost can't go wrong. Especially you always have to have Mike voicing them because there's people who can do the voices. But the delivery is more important than getting the voices accurately, 100%.
You'd really have to study under him night and day to even get it right.
Absolutely.
His comedic sensibilities.
I've talked to people who have written episodes, Christopher Brown, he's fucking awesome. He's the head writer of the original show and stuff. And I've seen like original scripts, and to read the scripts, of course, I'm already familiar with how the episode is delivered, but a lot of their quips and stuff on paper, it's very simple. So it truly is Mike's delivery that's making it that good, know?
Well, don't you have one of the scripts? Or a piece of it?
I have a lot of stuff.
Because you also work at the Cricket Gallery, right?
I do, yes.
Yeah.
We have all the original, well, I don't know, all the, but we deal in original animation art from Beavis and Butthead, Ren and Stimpy, and then all the way back to Disney and shit. And the way I got that job was I bought from them for fucking years, and then eventually they hired me. But yeah, so now my collection is just out of this world. And I've even had JJ Settlemeyer, who was the animation studio for the first 20 episodes. He sent me some original art. He even sent me the original animation disc that the episodes were animated on, which an animation disc back then was just a glorified light box that kind of spun, and that scripts, everything. I've got it all. It's the collection at this point. People ask me like, what do you need? And I'm like, 2 things, and I don't have room for them. So I'm okay.
Oh, geez, you just reminded me. You did answer the favorite part of your collection, right? Or did you leave it as it's pretty hard to say, but somewhere
pretty much the VHS tapes as a whole.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I can't even pick just one. It's just that sinks back to the ultimate nostalgia with me. So to get one in where it's just like written in Russian on the cover, I'm just like, I like to picture what every country's video rental store must have been like. That's interesting to me.
I could see that. No, actually, especially when you were talking about like the way they were editing out a lot of like the fire stuff or like,
Yes, and in other countries, we only got 11 VHS tapes over here, but throughout all the countries, there's 28 total. And then, of course, all the variations of them in different languages and stuff. So that kept it pretty interesting as well over the years, collecting those, because it's just, how come we in America only got 11 tapes? But then Australia got all 28 of them. And all I can think is that it's to compensate for the fact that other countries probably weren't airing the show on TV as much as us. So there was probably more demand for people to want to rent the episodes.
So a serious question I think everybody who follows you would want to know. is your relationship with the duo plutonic or sexual?
With Beavis and Butthead?
Yeah.
I think it's like polyamorous or something.
Oh, okay. That would make sense.
I'm a little more monogamous myself.
You like to share them with everybody.
Old-fashioned guy. Yeah.
I just figured you were like stalking them from like the outside.
I will say this: my obsession with them is more about just the actual characters. Like it is easy for me to separate like being a fan of Mike Judge and being a fan of these made-up characters. Like to me, because I was into them so young and stuff, they are almost more real than the guy voicing them, if that makes sense. I know them better than the guy voicing them. So if that's any answer to your asshole question.
That's actually pretty funny.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
I know there's a lot of people on Instagram that draw them doing it.
Oh my God, I don't want to know that.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's weird.
There's an account. I'm gonna plug an account. The Gay Cornholio on Instagram. That's always them like kissing each other and Beavis getting caught in Butthead's braces and all this. Anime is fucked up.
Gosh, wow.
Like those fantasy mashups or whatever.
Yeah. It's like they thought Simpsons and South Park were gonna fuck us up, but then kids just watch Dragon Ball Z and then they're like drawing everybody doing it.
Oh God, yeah.
That stuff cracks me up. I'm like, what the hell? Very nice.
Man.
Very nice. Classic. It's like, as if the internet couldn't get any more sorted.
Are you in the Guinness World Records?
To, like, censor itself, but be worse.
So
remember like Newgrounds.com and Salad Fingers and shit like that?
Yeah.
Oh,
you thought that was like the epitome back then, but now
what about Strawberry Pickle Surprise or something? What is it?
Bro, no.
The guy with the long pickle head, like it's
yes.
Pickle Surprise or that Strawberry Shortcake.
That was,
like the guy from Right Said Fred. Oh,
but
man.
if you think about it, Adult Swim almost spawned from that too, because a lot of the first shows on Adult Swim were all flash animated, but almost to a way more professional looking, extent until like 30-ounce mouse and stuff happened. That was pretty awful.
I love that show. That and Home Movies. Whew.
Oh, that's one of my favorites ever.
Brendan Smalls, man.
Yeah, that's a great fucking show, dude. And that started off as Squiggle Vision, technically, which was, do you remember Dr. Katz Professional Therapy and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. You could argue Bob's Burger was
the
peak of this movement, where it was all conversational humor and very limited animation. And
I forgot that the animation
John
was
H.
like
Benjamin
that.
again, man. He's so great at the
absolutely. And he was Coach McGurk, who's one of the greatest characters of all time. All movies.
Oh, okay.
I love Coach McGurk. His whole fat father theory. Fat father, so where if a girl had a fat dad, that means she'll be into fat guys. And then he approaches the school nurse. He's like, "So, was your dad fat?"
Is that like episode 1 or 2? Something like I can't
it's
remember.
one of the early ones, but my God, that stuck
So
with me
great.
forever. As a fat guy, especially, it's just like
So,
I'm so glad I didn't have
fat.
a mentor like that growing up. Because it's like giving you the type of confidence you don't need as a fat guy. Like, well, if your dad's fat, it's like everyone's fat by 60, dude. So.
No, there you go. Wow. Sorry, that one hit me in the guts. So I just watched the Beavis and Butthead do the Universe movie last night, so it's like still pretty fresh in my mind. Another scene where I thought it was pretty brilliant, where they kind of like misconstrue what the two main characters are talking about, is when they're delivering Beavis is delivering a speech in front of the crowd before they get on the rocket. And he's talking about how he dreamed of this moment for his whole life. He would feel ashamed.
Yeah, I'd be ashamed. And then
I feel like I feel like he said that speech before every time he's about to think he's going to score.
It's kind of a reoccurring theme, but it was a laid back speech this time.
Yeah.
Usually it's when he's at the end of his, rocker and he's like, we're never going to score. And this time it was like turned around on its head where he's like, you know what? I did it. I'm going to do it. And I never thought it'd happen. And, you got the astronauts tearing up. I love how their astronaut helmets are obviously custom made for their giant heads, too.
Yes.
So they're walking out.
Yeah.
They're fucking huge.
Cone heads.
Yeah. There's one I haven't seen in a very long time.
Oh, my gosh. Wow.
I think Pizza Hut had, like cone head cups.
Yeah. Wow. Classic. Still love Pizza Hut to this day. They had some of the best.
Remember Pizza Hut,
like,
guys?
movies and stuff. Oh,
remember the Scholastic Book Club, guys?
You mean the Pizza Hut guy, like pizza? The little talking pizza?
Oh no, that guy was actually that was
oh wow.
The guy who made Mr. Bill actually made those, I believe.
That's what I thought, because every time the pizza be like, oh no, like what are they an ode to
It's like
Mr.
the same
Bill?
fucking thing actually, and then he like a pizza slicer guy shows up and he's like, oh, pizza slice Ted's here. Someone's like, oh no. Yeah.
I was talking to that guy he had an Instagram and he must have deleted it 2 years ago.
Oh no.
So I can't talk to him anymore. I think he got too political on his. I think he got too political because I saw his Twitter and I was like, uh-oh. He must have deleted it.
Oh.
Past 2 years, everyone just suddenly knew what they were talking about.
I know.
Thank you, right? Yeah.
Dude, I'm like, dang, come on, Mr. Bill.
Like, I don't fall on either side, but I do know that none of you were watching the news before this. So shut up.
Man,
I just watched Beavis and Butthead.
Bandwagon Patriots and shit.
Oh yeah. Laptop warriors.
You're not going to get the history books, dude. We have the internet now.
So about your collection, what I forgot to ask you this when we started. Guinness World Records.
Too much money.
You have to pay to get in it?
Yeah, you have to pay, you have to document, you have to prove. And I mean, if I could be honest at this point, like Mike Judd follows my Instagram. He's talked to me a bit. A lot of the creators of the show talk to me. Being in Guinness, I never did this for like any notoriety. I did this because I've been passionate about it my whole life. And then in 2017, I was dating a girl and she posted a picture of my collection on her Instagram and Mike Judd liked the picture. And I was like, well, shit, maybe I should start an Instagram for my collection. And that's when it really got the notoriety and everyone cares that, like, it's really nice. Like, if the true question is when you ask me my favorite piece, it's just that people do care. It's really nice to have gone from the kid where like in school, they like maybe go to therapy and everything. And now I'm like a walking reminder. Like I have the tattoos all over me. I'll have like 50, 60-year-old men come up to me and just, they approach you about it like someone who's talking about the time they tripped on mushrooms. They're just like, oh, those guys, and it's just, it's nice to be this like walking reminder of my favorite thing, and it makes people happy.
Well, that's good enough for you. I mean, you got all of those creators and everything following you, talking to you, and you said you had a podcast where you interviewed these people.
Yeah,
but you need to get Mike Judd. You got to get him next.
Mike Judd just talked to me and stuff, responded to me on Instagram, and he thanked me a few times. He calls me a super fan, which is nice. But I don't see that ever necessarily happening. I don't think he wants to be interviewed by a guy like me who knows what he's talking about. I think he likes getting the same question every interview where they're like, so how'd you come up with the voices? Which he has 4 different answers for, by the way.
Well, that's when you have to think of things he's never been asked, like things you personally want to know.
He doesn't want those. Yeah, I did, because a lot of that stuff with like the early episodes and the paint thinner and the fire controversy, I don't think he wants to talk about that shit. I shouldn't speak for him, but I just I get that vibe that it's like Beavis and Butthead's very personal for him. It was almost taken away from him, empty. As he says, like he sold it to MTV for very cheap, and then it blew up. But he didn't have much rights to it for a very long time. He had say because he was doing the voices and shit like that. And I feel like now he's like very, very protective of it because I do think it's his favorite thing he's ever done. But he looks at it as there's parts of it that he wasn't proud of. And that's why I think all the releases are of the episodes he selected because, you know, when he's gone and we're all gone and stuff, Beavis and Butthead could still be out there just like the Three Stooges. And I think he wants it to be remembered for the great cornholio and not them sniffing paint thinner when it was drawn really shittily and shit like that, you know. So
I know the shitty drawings. Some of them are on those DVDs I have, and I'm like, I can't get into it, but I still watch it.
Yeah, it's those episodes. I think there's 28 of those, and I will, even as a diehard fan, say that only probably 2 or 3 of them are very good. But the thing that's interesting about Beavis, and this is another thing that got me obsessed as a kid, was that the show was so rushed into production that literally every episode you could hear him getting the voices more. You could see the animation improving because they were literally rushing it so much that you are watching a show perfect itself in real time. Like The Simpsons, like the first few episodes look shitty and stuff, but Beavis and Butthead with the episodes, especially the early ones, they were like 2 or 3 minutes at times. You could just tell every episode it's like, yeah, I didn't like the way that was drawn, so can you draw it a little better this time? And then eventually it got to like, you know, like 60 episodes in, and that's how it's always looked since. But but that, I don't know, that was kind of interesting as a kid, and probably got me into thinking about animation as a kid instead of just viewing it being like, huh, this is all drawn by people, you know, and you know, it takes talent or something.
It may be.
Well, of course, it does take. I mean, because like you were talking about squiggle vision, even some of the lines weren't like super straight on old Beavis and Butthead shows either or episodes. And but anyways, kind of to jump back to what you were saying about Judge feeling critical of the earlier episodes, I totally found some stuff on the internet like to that effect, so I can kind of more understand where you're coming from as far as him being pretty critical of his work.
Yeah,
I never even thought of it like that way. Like it's like his baby.
And probably the biggest part of his legacy. Yeah, you know what? I will say I think King of the Hill has surpassed Beavis and Butthead at this point. But Mike Judge even says he stopped writing on King of the Hill after like season 1 or something. Like it really, King of the Hill was created as a product for him. And the other guy who was a part of it worked on The Simpsons. And pretty much it was like, let's create a show that we can sell to Fox. And then Fox ended up pretty much demanding that the Hank Hill character be voiced by Mike Judge because of that Tom Anderson voice, which of course, if that didn't happen, who knows how good the show really would have done, because that is a key element. But I think when it comes to King of the Hill, it's really like a thing where he created, like, they call it a show Bible. If you know what that is, it's like the characters cannot be drawn out of this model. Here are things they would not say. Like I've seen parts of the show Bible for King of the Hill, and there's a page in it that says, it has a picture of Peggy, and then next to her it has cartoonist dream Peggy, and it draws her with like nice curves and like a bust and stuff like that. And it's like, no, we are drawing these people very plain. They are not cartoony. You know, this is how people look. And I think that's a great part of Mike Judge's animated satire right there. Outside of Beavis and Butthead, everyone is really like, I always said if Mike Judge were to draw you, you'd like look at it and be like, oh, yeah, probably. Yeah.
You know what? Yes, I agree with that wholeheartedly. Like, I feel like Hank Hill, like Peggy Hill, like a lot of those characters just look like people you would bump into,
Oh, dude, I
you know, at the market.
Like Bobby when I was a kid.
You know what? I shave your face, and I guess I can see it.
Yeah, yeah, I probably still do look like him if I shave. Yeah,
just like if Bobby like grew up. I'm like, oh wow. So that's what happened after season 13. Oh man, I used to really love King of the. I mean, used to. I shouldn't say that. I still really love King of the Hill a lot. Like, I was actually just forcing my lady not too long ago to watch through the entire series with me, and I think we got to season like at least in the double digits at this point. So we're almost done. Like we're watching the whole thing, but some of those jokes, man, always referencing the narrow urethra. Like I love a good callback, and they call it back so much. Or Hank's flat ass, Peggy's big feet. Like there's a little bit of physical like humor, which is great.
I think as much as I like Beavis and Butthead more, I will always say King of the Hill is a better show. But I think where King of the Hill really speaks to Mike Judge's style is that even though he wasn't writing it after a while, he did set the ground of what it should be, you know? And all of these characters, it is character comedy through and through.